So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups.
Yeah.
For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study.
Yeah.
So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. You know, baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy.
Yeah.
So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pro Plus.
Yeah.
Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing that course.
Welcome to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. How are you doing? Is it morning? Is it evening? Wherever you are, that doesn't matter. It is time for coffee. And like I said last week, in the UK they say anytime is tea time, but here on House of Talent Television we say that anytime is coffee time. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show. Remember, you can catch us live on our socials, that is on Twitter at HTV1, or you can go to our Facebook at House of Talent TV Uganda, or you can go to our website houseoftalenttvug.com, or you can catch us on YouTube at House of Talent UG. Live stream, make sure that you catch the show, and if you know there's a barista, there's a roaster, there's a farmer who should be watching this right now, let them know, tag a friend, share it far and wide. Well, today in the studio with me, I have a man who is a roast master. He's a double certified barista. I don't know how someone gets double certified, but we're going to get to know more about that. He's a trainer, he's a mentor, and he has more than 5 years experience in the coffee industry. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Mr. Kibuuka, Lawrence. Lawrence, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you here. Thank you for honoring our invitation to come here. I know that it's not an easy thing because on Saturdays people actually always want to rest. I know that the week can always be long, but thank you for coming. Just to start off, what does it mean to be a double certified barista?
Okay, first of all, it's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for hosting me. I was eager to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Kibuuka Lawrence, as he said. Most of my friends know me as Barista Reno. Yeah, that's the industry name.
Yeah.
Okay, to be double certified, it means you have the barista skills and the barista knowledge.
Okay.
Plus also an extra knowledge of coffee brewing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what it means to be double certified.
Yeah.
So are there people in the industry who are just certified, like a single certification?
Yeah, many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people actually need to up their game and get into a double certification. Also, on your resume or your CV, okay, it says that you're a roast master.
Yeah.
In the world there, when someone says a roast master, it goes into comedy, like roasting someone. But what does it mean to be a roast master when it comes to coffee?
Okay, when it comes to coffee, to be a roast master, it means you specialized in roasting coffee.
Yeah.
So you understand the bean itself.
Okay.
How to turn it from green to a consumable product.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into all the roasting, I know people are very eager to know what roasting is, the process of roasting, how does one become a roaster, okay? We just want to get to know more about you. We know that you're Kibuuka Lawrence,
Yes.
roast master, double certified, mentor, trainer, all these things, but who are you when you're not doing coffee?
Okay, when I'm not doing coffee, I'm taking coffee. Okay, coffee is my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, coffee is my life, starting from years back. I was in janitoring, what we call housekeeping, in some hospital there. But I got a friend, a bro.
Yeah.
So he told me about this coffee stuff. So I tried to catch an interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, I've never done anything else apart from coffee.
Yeah.
So like it rescued me from where I was. So when I'm not in coffee, I'm taking coffee.
So coffee was kind of like your salvation.
Yeah.
Okay. So still apart from that, what do you do on the weekends? Do you watch football, play football? Do you do research? You know, what kind of hobbies do you have as a person?
Okay, as a person, I watch football.
Yeah.
Also keep myself like updated.
Okay.
Updated.
Yeah.
Like I make more research.
Right.
That's why I keep upgrading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In coffee. So in football, which team do you support?
Manchester United.
So Manchester United, Arsenal, all in the same boat, you know?
Yeah.
People are saying that Ole should go. Are you of the same view? You think he should stay?
They should
With the bad record they're having right now, you think it's okay?
It's okay. Today you're having a bad record, tomorrow you're up.
So you guys are hoping that.
Yeah.
It's always good to have die-hard fans. We had an Arsenal fan here sometime, and you know he was of the same perspective. Yeah, but anyway, this is not a football show. This is a coffee show. So, getting into roasting more, I believe that you were first a barista.
Yeah.
Okay. So when was it at that point that you decided and said, you know what, I just don't want to be a barista. I want to be a roaster also. What pushed you more into the roasting bit?
Okay. It's not that I didn't want to be a barista.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to upgrade. As I've told you, like I keep myself upgrading.
Yeah.
But it reached a time when you research about like the skills, the coffee skills, where youths are, like of my age, they're in baristering.
Yeah.
And there are few roasters. So there was a need for someone to enter in that sector and also inspire others, because it requires a lot of reading, a lot of research than the practical.
Okay.
So I had to enter in that sector.
You had to open the way for others, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about roasting, okay, we know that the coffee chain basically starts all the way from the seed getting into the ground, the farmer, all the way to the cup. Okay, somewhere in the middle there you have different people who play different parts. Okay, you have the roasters, the baristas, the quality control, the graders, and all this. So when it comes to you, the roaster, okay, I believe that you have to pick a certain kind of coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start our process from there. Okay, you go to a farmer and say, I'm a roaster. Okay, how do you pick the kind of coffee that you, a roaster, would like to work with?
Okay, that's a nice question. Okay, as a roaster, when we are studying, we start from the seed.
Okay.
That's where the complicated part is.
Yeah.
We start from the seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to an institute or an academy, they start you from the ground. You do quality control. You also process. Then you cup. Then you go to the general roasting.
Yeah.
So when I go to the farmer, since I have that knowledge of the quality controller, it gets easier to choose the good quality of the beans that I'm going to roast, of the beans that I'm going to use.
Okay.
Yeah, but not leaving something behind that every coffee is good coffee, even though it is undergrade.
Yeah.
We will sell it to Nescafe.
Yeah, we had a barista last week who said actually there's nothing like bad coffee.
Yeah, there's no bad coffee.
Can't even sell that one. So what does the roasting process look like? You know, from the beginning all the way, you know, to the end.
Okay, roasting process is generally like turning the green beans, or those are coffee beans, from their green state to the consumable state.
Okay.
Yeah, but it involves use of heat, use of mind, use of eyes, the nose, and concentration.
Okay, so I believe that there are certain steps that you have to take, okay, in the process. I was reading, there are about 3 steps, okay? Yeah. So what are these steps that you have to take as a roaster for you to get the beans to where you want them to be?
Okay, first of all, we have what we call the variables. Like, there is what we call the changes, before you go to the steps, the changes that you have to be in your mind. First of all, you roast with your passion.
Yeah.
You have to put your passion in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to make sure you're in a secure place. Your fire extinguisher is there. Your gas is already there.
Yeah.
And the machine. So the steps are: you switch on electricity first. The machine, you switch on the electricity first. Then you switch on your gas.
Yeah.
And wait it to heat up. You wait for the machine or the drum to heat up to a certain temperature. Then you decrease it a little bit. Then you put your beans inside.
Yeah. So, talking about temperatures, okay? I believe that when you're roasting, there are different kinds of coffee that you will get. Okay, you'll get the light roast, you'll get the medium roast. Okay, so what are these different temperatures that you have to put into consideration when you're roasting?
Okay. First of all, let me highlight this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me first advise my friends.
Okay.
We have the specific temperatures, the numbers that were written in books. But we are different people.
Yeah.
Different minds and different passion.
Yeah.
When you conquer that machine, when you're the one driving that machine, there's a way you concentrate on the coffee more than the temperature.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have to be down and they don't have to be so high. Yeah. So it requires the mind, not the specific temperature reading.
Yeah.
Like we are in a specialty world, world where we have now to appreciate the work of our farmers.
Yeah.
The world where we need to get that sweetness from that particular bean. So if you concentrate on the digits, the temperature digits, you will miss what the farmer did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we put our minds on the changes of the beans from state to state, not the temperatures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't leave them aside.
Yeah.
We just balance the temperature.
Okay.
We balance the temperatures. Yeah. So it's like misleading someone if I tell you 180 degrees Celsius in 4 minutes, this one will happen. And if you do that and it doesn't happen, I'll be the liar.
Yeah.
So you have to use your mind, you have to use your cupping skills so that you get the best out of that coffee.
Yeah.
Even though it's light, medium, dark, you just have to use your mind, your cupping mind.
Yeah.
Yes. You see the changes, you feel the aroma, like those fumes from the coffee.
Yeah.
Then you see the color.
Okay.
So these are the major parts.
Yeah.
Eyes, the nose, and also you keep testing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with what you're saying that roasting is actually a combination of science and art.
Yeah.
Okay. So the art part comes in with, I think, experience. Okay, because if you get a first time roaster, you will be so worried about the digits and the time. Because in school they'll tell you, you know what, this degrees for this amount of time. So they will be so focused on that. So what you're saying is that you should have passion, and that passion should drive you towards, what you're roasting. And it will come out in, I believe that when you do that, it will come out in your own kind of way. Okay, so with roasting, there are certain recipes, okay, that you come up with. All right. If you could just tell our viewers which are some of these recipes that you can come up with, what are some of these aromas that you can come up with when you're roasting, and what kind of roast will give you what kind of aroma?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question. First of all, what you call a recipe in roasting, like we call it the roasting curve, the profile.
Okay.
Yeah. We build that roast under profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we record every changes from the start to the end when we're doing sample roasting. So that curve or that profile that you do, it is your recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't know how to enter in that recipe because I don't want to scare my friends to join the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first thing you all do, spoil. Never get scared of spoiling. You know, when you're doing that first interview of barristering or roasting you power and something doesn't come out. For roasting you can burn, you can bake. But to follow that recipe, you have to spoil some beans. You have to concentrate. Yes, and you have to be with some theory. For in roasting, theory is the key, not just the machine, so the barista side.
Okay, so when you have that theory of roasting, you can apply it to the practical. Okay, we're going to take a break now, but when we come back, you'll be telling me more about the aromas we can get. Viewers, we're going to take a break right now. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. With me in the studio is Lawrence, the mentor, the trainer, the double certified barista, and is giving us more knowledge about roasting. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.
But first of all, if you're passionate about what you're going to do, I believe in all work we do mistakes. So my first experience at work was when I reached at work. You know, you have to be confident when you're doing something, even if it's wrong. In our industry, you have to be confident. Once you're confident, you give support of it. So my first cup to make was for a customer, and I made a mistake on it because the waitress came and gave me a cappuccino single. I made it and gave it to her. Then she told me, no, the guest wanted a flower on it. I could not make a flower. So I said, what I've given you is what is supposed to go. I cannot make another cup of coffee. Please take that to a customer. If he calls me, I'll explain why. So that's how I started. But to me, when you love what you're doing, even when you make mistakes, still you will support that mistake and it will go. So I have love for the coffee, for the industry. I have love for what I'm doing, and when I'm on the station, trust me, I don't want anyone to disturb me. Even if you are the boss, once I'm in my bar, it is my turn.
It's your area.
Wait for my shift to get done, then you can bring the coffee.
Interesting. If you're watching us, this is House of Talent, the Coffee Break. We are having some fun with Isaac and Charles here. You know, Charles telling us about his first experience, and he was supposed to make a certain cup of coffee, which he did not do, but these are the different experiences that we have. So if you're a barista and it's your first day of the job, relax. You got this. Have some confidence. We have you here at the Coffee Break, and we're going to take a break right now. But when we return, we still have that part of we're going to brew a cup of coffee, which I believe is going to be very tasty. And we'll also be talking about how can we set up a successful coffee business, which I think very many people are trying to get into right now. So we'll take a break right now. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television.
I think most female feel like being a barista is more of a male job, or being a farmer is a male thing, or being a quality controller. Yet they don't know that there are other perfect people that we are looking at. So we want to bring this gender equality into the coffee business. I would thank this the International Women Coffee Alliance. It has really done a very good job to encourage women into the coffee business. When you look at coffee farmers or coffee processors, most of them are women. When you look at the quality controllers, they say that women are the best coffee testers. Why? Because they're very subjected to spices when they're cooking. They get a lot of flowers from us. So they test a lot of things, ice cream, yogurt, sweets, what. So they are good cup testers. Yes.
So most of them should actually, take opportunity.
I would actually encourage all the female to participate in the coffee business, whether owning a coffee shop, whether analyzing coffee, barista, farming. Yeah, we really need them.
You have to know each equipment. You have to know the brew ratio. Actually, the brew ratio is the most important. Brew ratio now most people may not understand. It is the ratio of the coffee powder to water, and the yield. Water in this article will bring us into the yield. If I put 10 grams of coffee into my portafilter, how much of it am I exactly? So if you don't master the brew ratio, oh, everything is going to turn out a mess. You understand? Even if you know that knowledge and you don't master the brew ratio.
So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups.
All right. Welcome back to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng, and it's lovely to have you guys here watching us. All the baristas, all the farmers, all the CEOs of the different coffee shops around town. Welcome to the show. With me in the studio is Mr. Kibuuka Lawrence, who has been telling us more about himself, more about roasting, and we're going to get in depth. I know there's a couple of you who have been asking, but really, what is this whole roasting thing? Some of you go to the coffee shop and you don't even know that your coffee is actually roasted before it gets into the cup. Lawrence, welcome back to the show. Before we went for the break, we're talking about the different kind of aromas that you can actually get from roasting. But perhaps before we get into that, someone asked that, because you're talking about get your gas, put the beans in it, and someone was asking, but now where does the gas come in? Where does the electricity come in? Okay, so for the person out there that really wants to know what's the exact process, okay, what are those details that they need to put into consideration. I know that people always want to try out things at home, so what's the actual process of roasting? Okay, you can take us way back to, I know that there's some people who do sun drying actually, as a way of roasting theirs. Then they put it in a small cup. I believe that was done way back, at the beginning of roasting, put it on a fire, and that's how it was done. But now we have the commercial way of doing it. Okay, so perhaps if you could just run us through that whole process of roasting.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, first of all, I come from the roasting family. Okay, my parents used to do like roasting way back in the local way, without using any specialized machine. Okay, to make it simple, we have many ways of roasting coffee. We can use a saucepan. We can use like what we call a chibaya. Like, I don't know how to explain it in
I know what you mean.
So, and we can use these equipped, like these machines from abroad. So when you're using a saucepan, you get our saucepan plus our stove. You put your beans, your green beans in that saucepan. You light up your stove or our normal sigiri, charcoal stove. Then when it's ready, you put some ash, so that the heat is not too much.
So you put the ash on the stove itself.
On the stove itself. Then you put our saucepan on that stove. So you keep mixing. You keep mixing as they are turning the color. So that's the local way of roasting our coffee. So you can try it like from home, anywhere. If you have your saucepan, your green beans, plus your sigiri. Okay. Now we have the new mechanism, the new improved machines. So those roasters, we call them drum roasters. So if you're going to use a drum roaster, you will need electricity, the drum roaster itself. You'll need this cooking gas, maybe from Total or Shell. Any gas can work. Yeah, and you need, of course, an extinguisher somewhere for
just
safety.
in case.
Just in case. Yeah. So, and also the green beans.
Yeah.
So first things first, you first check like whether the machine is working before you put on your gas.
Yeah.
Okay? Before you connect any gas. Gas helps us to provide the heat to the roaster. Electricity powers on the roaster. So you first switch on your electricity, you switch on the roaster and check whether nothing happened before. Before, like, within those range of working ranges. Yeah. So after there, when everything is running normally, smoothly, then you can introduce in your gas. For gas, we open like the usual gas. We open our gas. Yeah. So after there, when electricity, you have powered on your roaster plus your gas, it will start raising in temperature. So the gas will be providing heat.
Yeah.
So the drum will be running as it's warming up. So there are desired temperatures that we start roasting our beans, start putting our beans into the drum.
Okay.
So those temperatures start from 180 to 200 according to the coffee weight or the batch weight that you're going to roast.
Yeah.
So from there, when you reach that desired temperature between 180 degrees Celsius to 200, you can introduce in your beans. So as you introduce in your beans, the temperature of the drum will be going down because the beans are cold.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are raw. So the temperature will go down. So that decreasing temperature, it will be conducting, to be conducted to the beans. So as the drum temperature is going down, the temperature of the beans is rising. So it will reach a time when the two are equal, and that's where we get our turning point, the equilibrium point. So this is when the temperature of the beans inside the drum is equal to the thermocouples of that drum. Yes. So then after there, the two will start moving as a couple. So the temperature reading will be now reading the beans versus the drum. So within that range, now we start experiencing what you guys call aroma, those fragrance, those fumes that arise from roasting. First of all, when beans are raw or coffee beans are raw, you expect them to smell grassy, like our herbal grassy state. But as they're increasing, they'll be changing the color and the smell will be changing. So they will turn green, pale yellow. So there it will still be smelling grassy, the green state, and it is not consumable. It will still taste like sponge and taste raw. So from there, it will go to what we call the bread color or the browning. That's where the browning starts, the reddishing, and the aroma is there. They'll be smelling like the crust of the bread. If you have ever passed where there's a bakery, there's that smell of that crust. So that's where the breading part is. The bread, you can term it as the color of that crust or the smell of that crust. So from browning stage, it will start now getting our normal brown color. Now that's where you'll see that it's starting to increase on the browning state. Then after the year, it will start popping. You know how popcorns behave. Okay? That popping indicates that we are about to reach the first crack. We are about to reach the first light roast profile. It also helps us to know that the heat inside, is too much. Yeah. So you have to build all those in the mind. The heat, the crack, and the roast profile. So from there, now the coffee will start smelling like consumable coffee. Yeah, it starts smelling like consumable coffee. Its color will be like cinnamon color. You know how the cinnamon looks like. So from there, its acidity, if you remove it from there, its acidity will be high. Yeah, it will be high, it will be sharp in the palate. Yeah. And so after there, every change that will happen, it will be in the range of 30 seconds. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So from popping, it will be between 30 seconds to crack. To a crack is that big sound than a pop. The pop will be, the crack will be like bah. Yeah. So from there, now you're going to the medium stage, the medium roast. So medium roast will start to smell like fruitiness, those smooth aromas, like the fragrances will be like frolic, or like the way your roses smell. Those flowers, those small, like those good flowers they smell. So in that stage, after again 30 seconds, sugars inside the beans. Did you know that coffee also has sugars?
Didn't know that, but now I do.
Okay, to summarize that, every fruit has sugars, has natural sugars. Every fruit, and coffee is also fruit. So when you're applying heat inside there, the sugars will start to boil up. They will start to boil up. So in that medium stage, they will be boiled up. So you will feel that sweetness of the coffee. Now you will term it as the sweet fruits, all those sweet fruits, like that sugar cane, blah blah, like anything sweet. It starts from there. So after 30 seconds, those sugars will start to burn. Then after burning, you start feeling like the molasses, the honey, like even the caramelization, like if you have ever tasted caramel syrup. So after burning those sugars, you start feeling that. And the body, so the coffee will start feeling like, you're taking now coffee. Yes. For light roast, you'll be like taking tea. But for medium, 30 seconds after, you start feeling like, now this is coffee. So after again 30 seconds, that's where you reach the now what we call the medium high profile, or what we call the city roast, the city roast profile. So the city roast is where now you're starting now to alert yourself that you're going to spoil. Now you're decreasing on the acidity, you're increasing on the body. So all the cafes, 80%, they stop from there. That coffee that they are having, it stops from there. It will still smell like our normal fruits, our flowers is flowers from our roses, the blossoms. Since it's like it also flowers, you have to feel those. You have to feel those floral notes. So after there, after again 30 seconds, now we'll feel the second crack. The second crack now helps us to know that now you're going to the dark roast. And I don't think You want to spoil that. Okay, that coffee is spoiling, but also on the other side, there are those guys that want that harsh coffee. Yes, that bitter coffee. Then they are now you're going to bitterness. Yeah. Now you're exceeding the sweetness. Remember, you have burnt the sugars that we are helping us to give us those sweet notes. Now you're burning them. So in that second crack, you're in the dark roast. You're in dark roast. And for specialty coffee, we don't desire to go there. You've bought your coffee expensively, like 16K, and you burn it. So you can't burn that coffee. So, but even after 30 seconds, now the beans will start turning black. They'll be black. So the coffee there will be harsh. It will be having notes of chocolate, dark chocolate, baker's chocolate. And the acidity will be flat. The flavor will be now also going down. And you start feeling the burnt notes. When something is burnt. So you can target yourself from the light roast to the dark roast. Then you start, like you get to know where I have to remove my beans from the drum. So those are the steps taken when you're roasting. Another thing, after roasting, we have what we call the cooling tray. In every drum has that cooling tray. So that cooling tray helps us to cool those coffee beans, so that they don't extend. Remember, when you discharge them from the drum, when you remove them from the drum, they are still like roasting up. Like since they have consumed a lot of heat. So they're still warming up. So that cooling tray helps us to pause on the rise of the temperature. So we pause and we bring it down. Yes.
Okay, for those of you who wanted a complete tutorial on the roasting process, I believe that you are satisfied. And if you're not satisfied, then maybe you can get into contact with Lawrence and he will pass you through. I believe that was a detailed detailed way of roasting coffee. Well, we're going to take a break right now to just give you guys time to put that in your mind, to assimilate it into your thinking, so that you know exactly what the coffee roasting process looks like. We'll be right back after this break. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, let someone out there know that the Coffee Break Show is on, and we will be back right after this. This is House of Talent Television, the Coffee Break Show with me, Emmanuel Ateng.
For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. Baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy. So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pro Plus. Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing the course.
That's when I started learning that, this is how coffee is. But why is it that we produce coffee here and just sell it when we don't take it here, we don't consume it here? So one time when I had just started my training here, I went back to Iganga. And then I went to a hotel, a very established hotel. I will not mention its name. then I wanted to see if I have people that know about coffee in hotels, because I knew maybe probably big hotels serve coffee.
Yeah.
So to my dismay is that I introduced myself as a barista, and everybody was like, "What's a barista?" So I said, a barista is a specialist that makes coffee, a person who makes coffee for people to, coffee like, cappuccino, different kinds of, coffees, and people were like very green. I said, this is a big hotel. I expected to find here a coffee machine, and nobody knows about it. So it's, I think, incumbent of us to really transform this entire community, the entire country, to coffee, to learn about coffee, and also to give them the advantages of coffee, teach them about coffee, and then later on they maybe consume it, rather than just selling it.
Welcome back to the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. My name is Emmanuel Ateng. Remember, you can catch us live on our socials. That's on HTV1, that's on our Twitter, House of Talent TV UG, on our Facebook, House of Talent TV Uganda.com, that's on our website, and House of Talent UG live stream, that's on our YouTube. Remember, these shows are live for you. If there's someone you know who needs to be watching this show, someone who needs to improve their knowledge on coffee, let them know. Share this show far and wide. Let's get coffee out there in Uganda, because we believe that it has to be out there on a bigger scale. Well, we're talking about roasting. What is roasting? Why should we even roast? Are roasters important? And these are the questions that we have been answering with Lawrence on the show. And Lawrence, welcome back. Before we went into a break, you gave us a total breakdown, of the roasting process. You brought in things that I believe that some people are still scratching their heads over here. But we had a question. Someone asked a question that, okay, fine. Now I know the whole roasting process. I can use the local method of I get a saucepan, get a stove, and roast there. Or I can use the commercial kind of roasting where I have a drum and, I have to keep monitoring the temperature and the time to get different aromas here and there, okay? We have that knowledge now, okay? Yeah. But someone asked me, but why? Yeah? Why do I even need to roast in the first place? Okay? Can't I just get my beans and use them as they are, okay? And also the other question was, with these aromas we're talking about, okay, can we only achieve these aromas through roasting, or there are other things that can affect it? Because even the storing of coffee can affect the type of aroma you get from it, okay? So let's just try to answer these two questions for now.
Okay, thank you for those questions. Okay, first of all, why we roast? Do we need to roast? Yeah, of course we need to roast. Because raw coffee is an unconsumable product. We call it a raw material. And percentage of farmers are exporting it as a raw material. So if it's a raw material, it means it helps us to make something else. It helps us to take something else, to transform it to something else. So we need to roast our coffee so that it can be consumed. It's like eating raw banana. Raw matoke, these matokes. So you have to cook it so that you can eat it. Yes. So when coffee is raw, it's not coffee. It's not a consumable product. We apply heat, we cook it to the final product that is consumable.
Okay. Then the second question was, these aromas we are talking about, okay? Can we only get them through that roasting process, or are there other, other things that affect the way that the aromas will come out?
Okay. There's specific places for specific aromas. there is coffee from the east, there is coffee from the west. Of course, since they are different places, different aromas. You achieve different aromas. Yes. So that is on the part of the altitude or the region where the coffee comes from. But to achieve those different aromas, to know that this coffee comes from here, you have to again roast that coffee to get that particular aroma. Yes. So the region versus the roasting versus the output. Yes. So aroma means like that smell from something warm, from something warm. Fragrance comes from something not warm, like fumes. Now to get that aroma, it's a smell, a sensation from fumes of a brewed hot substance. Yes. So you can't just achieve aroma even though you go to the peak of the mountain and be like, this is where good coffee starts from. Even though you squeeze your nose, what you'll be feeling, it will not be aroma. It will be something else. Yes.
So that's how we could get that aroma from that process. Well, switching a bit away from roasting, we're going to get into the business part. I know that you're a trainer and you're also a mentor. And you're also a certified barista and a certified roast master. There's a lot of things on your CV which basically make you look very good, and it's a good thing for, I believe, that whoever is involved in the coffee industry to basically increase their knowledge and increase their CV. So when it comes to entrepreneurship, I know you work with the youth, and we live in a time whereby there's very much uncertainty. You have the coronavirus that is happening now. You have the lockdown that is happening now. Of recent, you have the bombings that are going on in Kampala. And we live in uncertain times. No one really knows what's going to happen in 2022. And because of that, people are losing jobs. There are people who are giving up on life. Because they have no source of income. But I believe that coffee itself, like how you say that coffee was your salvation, it saved you, and now you do only coffee. I believe that there's someone out there who's also looking for a way out. So how can we use coffee to start businesses? How do we link coffee to entrepreneurship? Because I believe that that's one of the things that you talk to the youth about. So how can we use this coffee in Uganda to start businesses, to become better at entrepreneurship, to better our lives? If I was a youth you are talking to, what would that advice be?
My first advice to my students, the people I train, the people I talk to, is that at every stage of coffee, from the farm to the cup, you can gain something. So I first get to know, like, you as you, what's your passion? Is it going to the garden? Is it going to the factory? Or is it like being a supplier? First of all, we are working for people. We're working for people. But our dreams are being self-employed. Yes. So in coffee, if I'm mentoring you, if like I want you to get something good, improve on your life, me, I can pass through roasting. I can teach you how, like I can teach you or train you the part of coffee roasting. So within that process, you like will be making some money somewhere, and where does that money comes from? You buy your coffee, you roast, you pack it, and you sell. Of course, there are many cafes that are opening. We have our organizations here in Uganda, like they are boosting up the consumption. We have business people that are starting up cafes, but there is that gap. There is that gap of supply. there's that gap of supply. Big companies are exporting, but we can also be the big company at our youth stage. We roast our coffee, we pack it, and we sell it. Let me take another example. You can be a good person in computer graphic designing. So when I introduce that idea, you can plan the way of branding that coffee, how we can market that coffee. Yes. So we can, like, at the end of the process, me and you will be having something to put in the pocket, or to save on the account. So the reason, like, the major reason as to why I train, most especially in roasting part, like, I want my fellows, like, to also, like, work for themselves. You build that knowledge. Yes, our farmers are, like, they are giving us coffee, but it's not always good to always export that coffee. We as the youth, we can use that coffee to be somewhere, other than exporting it. So on side of roasting, I train you how you buy the coffee and which kind of coffee you buy, and for a particular target of clients. Me, I have my big clients somewhere, though I don't want to mention the names. But they are there, and they are always asking for more and more coffee. And I think right now they're even watching. So me, my dream is for guys to be like me. We have coronavirus. Our parents are left with nothing in the pocket. Me, I did sciences and I passed, but I had no money for the university. There are guys there at the university, they don't know what's next. So we welcome them to coffee, and we get to know how the skill is going to push their lives forward. So through coffee, everything is possible. For example, the girl child. Concentrate more on the girl child.
I'm glad that you actually brought that up.
The girl child. Like, though that is the gender that we all need to help faster. Because we guys, we can plan any gig and get it by the girl child. Like, we don't want our girls to be used in order to get money. But we can train them how they can earn money for themselves. A good woman in coffee is a good entrepreneur. They are our big ladies in the industry. And I think you know them.
Some of them.
Some of them. But I use those ladies as examples to the girl child when I'm training them. Like, I train them not to be hunters that have now non-roasting. What's next? Now I trained you to know the roasting stage and where you can get something for your pocket. Every lady that you enter in someone's office with a coffee mind, it will be like a surprise to the boss, or to the person, or to the customer she has gone to. So the girl child, mainly, like, I want the girl child to enter more in coffee. Like, we want more girls in the industry. Yes. And the girl child that is a good roaster, like 5 millions abroad.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because always on the show, most of the guys we've had here are actually men. Okay, and every time someone comes, I always ask them the same question. Why don't we have more girls getting into the coffee business? Let it be roasting, let it be being a barista, quality control, and all this. And like you said, there are certain few ladies who are actually doing it. but others are not really getting into it. And I know that in such times, you know, everyone is looking for money. For the guys, you can here and there, you know, in Kampala, here and there. And for the ladies, we actually need to support them more, all right? There's a couple of cafes I've gone to, and, you know, every time I see a lady barista, not just one who serves, but an actual barista, okay? It always makes me happy because I realize that, you know what, now we are pushing them to a place where they need to be, okay? And to the female baristas out there, you guys are doing a good job. I want you guys to encourage more ladies, just like Lawrence has said, to get into it. You know yourselves. I would have mentioned your names, but you know yourselves, yeah? So let's encourage more ladies to get into the coffee industry. We're drawing towards the end of our show, but before we get there, all right, you've talked about the entrepreneurship bit, okay, how you train different people, not only ladies, but also men. You've talked about how these are hard times and we really need to find a way of getting some money into our pockets because, I mean, 2022, it's very uncertain what will happen. Yeah. You know, we might say, oh, you know, we're done with the lockdown and all these things, but a new wave comes, God forbid. Okay, so I believe that coffee is something that will keep on going. Yeah. Okay. Whether there's lockdown or not, it can't really affect coffee that much. It's like tea, you have to drink tea, okay? And people have to drink coffee, okay? So a country like Uganda, okay, we are trying our best to become one of the leading exporters of coffee in Africa. And also we're trying to get to a stage where Ethiopia is right now, okay? But on the flip side, you realize that we don't consume that much coffee in our own country, being a country that actually exports a lot of it. Okay, so what are some of those things that we can do, all right, to make sure that Uganda becomes a nation that actually consumes its own coffee? Because we have, you know, the Bubu, by Uganda, okay? So how do we get ourselves into that state where we actually, before thinking of exporting our coffee, actually get to consume our own coffee? How do we get there?
First of all, we need to train our people.
Yeah.
So we need more training, more sensitization about coffee.
Yeah.
You know, those guys that came first before us, they have that, like, that negative side of coffee. Like telling someone, like, coffee will, like, you will lose sleep when you take coffee. You can't. It just keeps your body awake, not only the mind. Me have to take water every morning. So if I take water every morning, I can take like 5, 6, 7 cups of coffee and I sleep properly. So we need to sensitize our people, and we need to give them an example that is true. Ethiopia is a good exporter, but quality coffee in Ethiopia comes from Migachafe. That quality coffee is consumed within the country. So you first appreciate what you're growing before you take it outside. So you need to train so much from the farm level. Like 80% of our farmers, they just grow, sell, but they have even never tasted the coffee. Many like a much percentage, a good percentage of our farmers. So from the farm level to the general level, we need to train. That is that's what we need to do. Even though we put each coffee at a lesser price, like the consumption will not go high. So we need to first train. Then other things will be coming up. But training is the key to everything. Like we need to sensitize our our Ugandans good about coffee. Like after taking coffee, you feel this, you get this. Like we appreciate what you are growing. So you see Ugandans taking more of the matoke. Like they appreciate more than sending it.
Okay.
So training is the key to everything.
Well, it's good that you're a trainer, and you know, if you could actually get more trainers, together to make sure that we get to that place where we're supposed to be. Before we end the show, okay, I know that there are very many questions that we could still ask, okay, but the last question is, as a roaster, okay, how do you set yourself apart in the industry? There are many roasters out there, okay, but what would make me say, you know what, I need to go to Lawrence, So what are those things that you can do as a roaster, and perhaps to the roasters out there, to set yourself apart, to brand yourself, so that when people are looking for a roaster, they know that's the guy I should go to. What are some of those things?
Okay. Roastmaster Lawrence. I like that name so much. Roastmaster Lawrence or Roastmaster Reno.
Yeah.
Okay, to be me, or to be like me, or to recommend me somewhere, you have to know Lawrence. Lawrence roasts coffee with passion. First of all, I put passion in every stage of coffee. And another thing, Lawrence knows coffee theoretically and practically. So I make research from green coffee, quality management, roasting itself, and the output. So we drink coffee as we are talking, as we are chatting. So Lawrence will cup for your coffee, like will taste for your coffee. And I have some good big clients. They have to recommend Lawrence has to be there to test their coffee, to give them results. Like if we wait for our organization, our government organization to do everything, we will not achieve. Just recommend Lawrence. Lawrence is a roaster, a barista. Like he knows coffee, and also like I have my own brand. I have my own brand as Lawrence. It's also on the market and it's also selling. So, but me as Lawrence, I concentrate on the home consumption. Like I want to, everyone to taste that coffee at a cheaper price. So Lawrence is a good person. Is an approachable person. And is a coffee connoisseur. It means coffee expert. So each stage that you find Lawrence, from the green stage, that is grading, quality control, to the baristering, Lawrence will advise you. Lawrence will give you a way forward. Yes.
So basically, just be really good at what you do, and people will look for you. Well, Lawrence, I just want to say thank you very much for coming to the show. I believe that all the stuff you have shared has been really important, and I know that in just 1 hour you can't really expound on everything. But from the little we could get from you, we just want to be appreciative of that, and you've shed more light on roasting. Most of the guys we've had here are baristas, okay, but it's good always to have a balance of things. You've given us the roasting side, you've also given us the mentorship side, what the youth should do in such times like this. So I just want to say thank you. I hope that we can have you again next time. And for those of you who are out there, you're looking for a roaster, Roastmaster Reno, aka Roastmaster Lawrence, we'll be there to help you. You can catch us again next time on House of Talent Television. This has been the Coffee Break Show with me, Emmanuel Ateng. Remember, you can always catch us live on our socials, House of Talent televisionuganda.com, that's on our website, HTV1 on our Twitter, House of Talent Uganda live stream on our YouTube, or just go up to our Facebook. You can watch this show live, or you can, if you missed any other show, you will find them on all those platforms. Thank you again for being with us. Till next time, this has been the Coffee Break Show on House of Talent Television. Have a lovely day.
So I used to love the way our barista used to present his cups. For example, one day he presented some nice coffee. It was a cappuccino, very nice, presented. And I asked him, how do you make this? He said, you go to a school and study. So I used to love the passion he had. So I said one day I should learn this. So I kept on serving his orders. But I found out that most of the orders were according to the way he was feeling. You know, baristas present their cups according to the way they are feeling, according to the mood. In case he left home when he's sad, he's not happy, you will see the results in the cup. But when you see something beautiful, just know he's so happy. So the passion he had and the love he used to put in the cup really encouraged me to join the school. Not until I got to learn about Isaac at the Pro Plus. Then I came with some of my friends, so we are now doing that course.
That's when I started learning that, this is how coffee is. But why is it that we produce coffee here and just sell it when we don't take it here, we don't consume it here? So one time, when I had just started my training here, I went back to Iganga. And then I went to a hotel, a very established hotel. I will not mention its name. Then I wanted to see if I have people that know about coffee in hotels, because I knew probably big hotels serve coffee. So to my dismay is that I introduced myself as a barista, and everybody was like, "What's a barista?" So I said, a barista is a specialist that makes coffee, a person who makes coffee for people to, coffee like, cappuccino, different kinds of, coffees, and people were like very green. I said, this is a big hotel. I expected to find here a coffee machine, and nobody knows about it. So it's, I think, incumbent of us to really transform this entire community, the entire country, to coffee, to learn about coffee, and also to give them the advantages of coffee, teach them about coffee, and then later on they maybe consume it, rather than just selling it.
You have to know each equipment. You have to know the brew ratio. Actually, the brew ratio is, I think, the most important. Brew ratio now most people may not understand. It is the ratio of the coffee powder to water, and the yield. Water in this article will bring us into the yield. If I put 10 grams of coffee into my portafilter, how much of it am I exactly? So if you don't master the brew ratio, everything is going to turn out a mess. You understand? Even if you know that knowledge and you don't master the brew ratio.